Mike Tyson is coming out of retirement, the nearly 60-year-old man, to fight Jake Paul. Jake Paul has taken this meme of him fighting, 50 to 60-year-old fighters to another level because he is fighting Mike Tyson. And while Mike Tyson was once one of the greatest boxers to ever live and one of the scariest men to ever walk this planet, he is not that anymore. And we're going to talk about that in this video and talk about why so many people are upset about this matchup. And I'm just shocked that this happened. I mean, this news just came out. Like, I woke up, saw my phone, I was like, I gotta make a video on this bonus video. Guys, I have been grinding with the content this week with UFC 299, Francis Ngannou versus Anthony Joshua, and all the Ryan Garcia drama, man. I've been uploading like multiple times a day. So please, in return, just hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and share. We're almost at 12K, guys. I think we're gonna hit 12K by, the end of the month or so. Maybe that's a little ambitious, but help me out, guys. Hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and share. It also helps the algorithm and all of that. But first, I want to thank the sponsor of the video, betting.bet. Guys, UFC 299 is this week, and so is Anthony Joshua, Francis Ngannou. There's a lot of fun stuff to bet on. So make sure to check out betting.bet because they got the best lines, they got the best sports books, they got all the information you need to go and gamble. Guys, make sure to hit the link in the description because they are supporting the channel. I can't thank them enough. Soon enough, you're even going to be able to see my picks on their website. So check that out there in the link in the description. And guys, remember, it's only 18 and plus and gamble responsibly. But let's talk about this matchup, talk about the fight, and I'm going to talk about a lot of the problems later on. Now, Jake Paul, he's been boxing for about 6 years now or so, right? I think he started in 2018, went on to fight another YouTuber, Deji. Then it started to treat this more and more serious, and then he was the co-main event to Mike Tyson's return fight against Roy Jones Jr. back in 2020. And I got a question for you guys. Who did Jake Paul face in 2020? Let me know in the comment section below. Let me know if you guys get the right answer, and I'll reply if you do. I'll reveal that at the end of the video. Don't worry, guys, so you guys will check it out there. But yeah, he's been progressing in competition, right? I mean, he started off with YouTubers and athletes and MMA fighters, then he kind of regressed and, went after these, retired boxers like Andre August, like Ryan Borland. And I think a lot of people were fed up. A lot of people, including myself, were saying this is ridiculous because the MMA fighters were giving him more of a challenge, right? You're regressing backwards. You're finding worse opponents because you cannot tell me that Ryan Borland is better than Anderson Silva or even Tyron Woodley. But it seems like, what is Jake Paul going to do next? And this morning we got a massive announcement. Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul is happening July 20th live on Netflix and is going to be in Cowboy Stadium. It holds about 100,000 people, so they're expecting this event to be massive. And we're going to talk about some of the details that we know. We don't know a lot of details. For example, we don't know if this is an exhibition or a pro fight. That is a big deal, and I'm going to get into that later. I also believe that this is not a pay-per-view. This is going to be on Netflix as long as you have the subscription. That's what a lot of reports are saying at the moment. And let's get into this, guys, because Jake Paul, this could either be a big move or a massive mistake, and I think this is most likely going to be a massive mistake. Now, as I mentioned in the beginning, Mike Tyson is 57 years old, nearly 60, and he's going to fight a guy in Jake Paul who's about 25 years old, I believe. And while I don't think that Jake is the best boxer, Jake has a lot of advantages over Mike Tyson simply because of age. His hand-eye coordination is going to be better, his reflexes, his movement, he's going to be faster. The only thing that I think Mike Tyson might have an advantage over is the power, because power is something that doesn't really leave you, especially when Mike Tyson has been seemingly training throughout the past few years. It's not like he hasn't trained since that 2020 fight. And I feel like that there's 3 possibilities of how this fight is going to go. And I'm going to get to the saddest, most realistic one at the end of this video. But let's talk about the first one. Maybe this is just an exhibition, and maybe this is going to be kind of like a show, kind of like how the Floyd Mayweather-Logan Paul fight was, with Floyd Mayweather clearly not trying that much, and Logan Paul just clinching him up and then going to a decision, and then, oh yay, both guys win because it went to a decision. That is, I think, the second most likely possibility coming out of this fight, because look, Mike Tyson, he did do an exhibition against Roy Jones Jr. Him and Roy Jones notoriously didn't really go that far at each other, right? They were both taking it easy, it seemed, and there was no winner, right? The fight was declared a draw, even though I think most people agreed Mike Tyson should have won that fight if we're actually scoring it. But because it was an exhibition, it was a draw, so I do feel like maybe this is a possibility. Maybe Jake Paul's gonna go a little bit light, maybe Mike Tyson will go a little bit light, and it's just for a show, it's just a spectacle. And I still don't want to see that, to be honest, but that's at least better than the other possibility. Now, the second possibility, which I think is the least likely, but I don't think as far likely as some people want to admit, is that Mike Tyson actually beats Jake Paul, right? And I think if he does this, it's gonna have to be by knockout, and maybe gets a decision win. I mean, this is very unlikely. I'm just saying, stick with me here. Maybe he can, but I think most likely it would be coming by knockout. And Mike Tyson does hit hard, and at the end of the day, Mike Tyson on the pads has been looking fast, and there are openings to counter Jake, right? A pro boxer could go in and really hurt Jake because there are so many openings. I really think that this guy has regressed in skill. I don't know if it's because he's not treating this competition seriously, but it's just his defense has not been as good lately, and I feel like he's just falling apart. I feel like Jake Paul's #1 problem isn't the offense, it's the defense from him, and I think that is what's going to stunt him in terms of going to the pro route. But yeah, maybe Mike Tyson, saves us all from the Jake Paul train, knocks him out cold, and ends his reign, and we can no longer hear about Jake Paul again. That would be a hilarious scenario, but I don't think that that's going to happen either. Most likely, the scenario that is going to happen, and I hate to say this, is that Mike Tyson is going to look old out there, and we're going to see Jake Paul knock him out within like 3 rounds. I don't mean to laugh because I'm just imagining a stumbling Mike Tyson, you know, entering the ring with a cane, getting wobbled in like 3 seconds. Like, this kind of reminds me of when Nick Diaz fought Robbie Lawler and everyone was so worried, and how Nick Diaz looked. He didn't look in shape, right? He did look a little bit bigger than normal. There was a whole drama with the weight situation. I think a better comparison might be when Chuck Liddell fought Tito Ortiz for the 3rd time, when Chuck Liddell was way past his prime and he just looked nothing like himself, and it was just a fast, embarrassing knockout that just left us all feeling gross more than anything instead of hyped to the event. And I'm just worried because I do think that this is what's going to happen. I think that this might be a big fight in the build-up. I think we're going to get to the event with a lot of people, granted, I think are going to be watching this thing. This is the type of fight where my grandfather himself is going to be watching this because he's a big fan of Mike Tyson. He actually was a Golden Gloves champion. I'm giving you guys the lore drop here, but my point is that there's going to be a lot of people out there watching this thing. You know, older people, middle-aged people, young people, you know, everybody's going to be involved. This is a type of fight that's going to reach a lot of demographics. So I do think that there's going to be a lot of eyes, especially with it being on Netflix. Netflix being such a huge platform. I think all of this has the potential to be big. But if I were Jake Paul, I wouldn't announce it so early. We talked about this during the Nate Diaz fight. He announced that fight super early as well, and I felt like the hype kind of died, and I feel like the same thing is going to happen here. I feel like we're going to get to May, and we're going to talk about the hype being dead, and then we'll get to June, and then we'll get to July, and then the hype will be back on. Announce it like 2 months prior, maybe even less, like the UFC does, and the hype is a lot better. But that's not important. My point is that a lot of people, I think, are going to be watching this thing when the day comes, and I think that, you know, we'll be hyped, but I think a lot of people are going to see Jake Paul just Mike Tyson. Everyone's going to say the same thing, like, oh, what did you expect? He was 60 years old. And everyone is going to paint Jake Paul as an elder abuser because, let's be honest, he borderline is. I mean, I would have never expected going to bed last night to have to talk about this the next day, but I do think that this is what's going to happen because we have seen Mike Tyson in the past year, since 2020, not really seem good. Twitter user McGregor Rousey posted, I saw Mike Tyson at a UFC event in Dallas about 18 months ago. He was literally walking with a cane, and then proceeded to put in his replies, no exaggeration, with a picture of Mike Tyson with a cane. There's also another post, this is who you're fighting at Jake Paul. Mike Tyson was spotted at Miami International Airport in 2022 in a wheelchair with a walking stick. This came a few weeks after Mike Tyson was seen walking with a cane in New York City. It's been reported that the former heavyweight champion was dealing with sciatica flare-up in his back. Here's an article about the situation back in 2020. Mike Tyson is pictured in a wheelchair at Miami Airport, raising new fears for his health amid problems with sciatica just a few weeks after he morbidly claimed his death is coming real soon at 56. Because 2 years ago, Mike Tyson claimed on his podcast that he literally thinks he's going to die soon. I mean, I don't know. This is actually a joke. Like, I kind of find this funny, but also pretty sad at the same time because it's just so ridiculous. Like, who would think of this? Like, I don't know what Jake thought was going to be the reception. I don't think the fight is going to get canceled, but honestly, I feel like if there's any fight that's going to get canceled, it's going to be this one due to all this backlash. And the news just happened, so I don't know how bad this backlash is going to be once everybody reacts to it because it's still pretty early. And of course, there's actually people that support this thing. Mike Tyson's still looking dangerous even at this age. Posting a picture of Mike Tyson hitting the pads. Like I said, the power isn't the question, right? Everyone knows that he could do the pads. My concern is how he's going to be reacting to the punches of Jake. That's the big problem because that's what gets taken away when you get older. What ifs are the beating heart of this scene. We want fights that generate conversation and curiosity. Mike was one of the scariest, most ruthless boxers in history. Luckily for Jake, he's way out of his prime. So what if Jake Paul fought Mike Tyson now? No one's arguing the appeal here. It's just that some of us actually have morals and don't want a 60-year-old man getting hurt against a young, hungry guy that's been training boxing every day for the past 6 years or so. Nobody is doubting that this isn't going to sell pay-per-views. Nobody is doubting that people aren't going to watch or talk about it. People just actually have morals. I know this is hard to believe in the day and age of the internet, but people actually sometimes care for other people, and I just don't think it's healthy for Mike Tyson to be going in there at this age. And I asked you guys earlier, who did Jake Paul fight on the undercard of the Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones fight? And to answer the question, it was retired NBA superstar Nate Robinson, who he knocked out viciously in that second round. The guy had no boxing experience, and there was even rumors that the guy didn't even spar leading up to that fight. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I'm curious to see what you guys think. Guys, I made a video predicting Anthony Joshua versus Francis Ngannou. It came out earlier today. Go check that out, guys. I also made a bunch of UFC 299 prediction videos, as well as videos talking about the Ryan Garcia situation. Just check out my channel, guys. Hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and share. Click the link in the description to join the Discord, and I'll see you guys in the next one.